The state legislative bodies continue to change the law, not as to who can vote, but who gets to count the vote. Count the vote. Count the vote. It's about election subversion, not just whether or not people get to vote. Who counts the vote? That's what this is about.
And while I continue to support these bills, I will not support separate actions that worsen the underlying disease of division infecting our country. The debate over the Senate's 60-vote threshold shines a light on our broader challenges. There's no need for me to restate my long-standing support for the 60-vote threshold to pass legislation. And there's no need for me to restate its role protecting our country from wild reversals in federal policy. It is a view I've held during my years serving in both the U.S. House.
I don't know how much. That's all I can handle of that. But the wild reversals thing, I'm sorry. Like, okay, let's say you do Medicare for all because you get rid of the filibuster. Obviously, that's really pie in the sky. Let the GOP try to reverse that. Mm-hmm. Do good things and let them have to waste their time when they do get in power reversing the good things as opposed to just cutting more taxes. I mean, that. But that's what Sinema wants. Is, I mean, she's a closet Republican, and the frustrating thing about the Democrats right now and Joe Biden is, like, you go to Atlanta to try to, like, garb yourself in, like, some like ancient Civil War, like, mystique, or civil rights mystique. Yeah. But I'm sorry, the fight is not with, like, Bull Connor. It's not even with the Republicans. It's with your own party. And what do you do to confront them? You just talk about how mad you are. Like, this is a dead party.
Who gets to count the vote? Count the vote. Count the vote.
What completely bad faith, what total bad faith from Kyrsten Sinema
at this time
to say,
in our history.
We should have talked more to the other party when Kyrsten Sinema wouldn't talk to anybody. Gene, she runs into elevators. She won't talk to anybody. Doesn't talk. She doesn't talk through anything. Exactly. The people on the Hill, they may not be thrilled with Joe Manchin, but Joe tells them where he stands and where he has stood all along. For Kyrsten Sinema, you can respect him, right? But for Kyrsten Sinema to say, we haven't talked enough to the other side, is the height of cynicism.
It is. And also to make this grandiose pronouncement literally with Joe Biden on his way to the Hill to talk to Senate Democrats, right, to preempt the president in that way. Your president is just, it's beyond the pale. It is beyond the pale. It smacks of bad faith. She didn't want to talk to Joe Biden. She could have talked to the president of the United States, but she wanted to go on the floor and talk about, again, leaders not talking, again, when she has just sat there. Reportedly, during the meeting with Senate Dems, conspicuously spent the time looking at her phone.
Who gets to count the vote? Count the vote. Count the vote.
Dear Kyrsten Sinema, we live in a representational democracy. Our representatives are elected to speak for us in the U.S. Congress. You are supposed to be the agent of the constituents who elected you to your place in the Senate. You are not there to represent your opinion. You are there because people elected you to represent theirs. Our voting rights are under attack. This is not conjecture or opinion. It is obvious and discernible fact. Your state alone is one of the biggest perpetrators of the big lie and was just proved to have committed fraud by creating an alternate slate of electors to undermine President Biden's win. You were chosen by Democrats to represent democratic values for the state of Arizona. The Democratic vote in Arizona is under attack. The Democratic vote in America is under attack. There is nothing more important for you to do than to protect the vote of the people who voted to give you your job. This isn't about you. Any other job in the world would fire you for failing to do what you were hired to do. But we can't do that. So we just have to watch as you allow the voting rights of the entire country to be destroyed by one party while you blame your party for failing to get their support. What is wrong with you? You're like a doctor who is killing the patient. Arizona, talk to your senator. She says she's listened to you. Has she?
Who gets to count the vote? Count the vote. Count the vote.
Well, I've been listening to Senate speeches for decades now, most of them while I was sitting in the Senate chamber as a Democratic Senate staff member. And I have never heard a more contemptuous speech by a Democratic senator than the one written by Kyrsten Sinema's Senate staff and read by Senator Sinema on the Senate floor today. The speech was filled with contempt for Senator Sinema's Democratic colleagues, for her constituents, and for all of you. Senator Sinema expressed that contempt by delivering a nonstop insult to the intelligence of everyone who was listening. She filled her 20 minutes on the Senate floor with a string of Hallmark greeting card-like platitudes about how the United States Senate should work, and not a single word about the reality of why the United States Senate no longer works.
Who gets to count the vote? Count the vote. Count the vote.
They better not utter not one quote from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., not one, or any of his colleagues and contemporaries as we come up on his birthday on Saturday and the national celebration on Monday. These people are cowards. They are soulless cowards to hold up a daggone rule. Filibuster is a rule. It's not written in the Constitution. It's not a right. It is a rule, and they're standing in the way of it. So this is nonsense. They worried about what the Republicans going to do. Let's take care of 2022. Let's do what Democrats can do right now. They have the power. And my message to President Biden, now he done wasted a whole bunch of time with these folks, being diplomatic, inviting them out to the White House and to time out for it. He needs to hold a press conference, let them know. Either you're going to be by my side saying you're going to be with me and getting rid of the filibuster, or I'm gassing up the jet on your behind, and I will be in Arizona and West Virginia directly and let the American people know who's standing in the way of my entire agenda, not just voting rights. So President Biden, gas up the jet and cancel student debt.
And the state legislative bodies continue to change the law, not as to who can vote, but who gets to count the vote. Count the vote. Count the vote. It's about election subversion, not just whether or not people get to vote. Who counts the vote? That's what this is about.